Hey everybody, it's Laura from McNeely Garden Studios. I have on my new New Year's Eve flower crown and earrings and a fancy glass for my water today. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that you're here to learn the note to self techniques. It shows me that you are a person that really cares about yourself, and self-care is the best care. That's the way that you show up and are able to care for others. When you have poured out all of your essence into someone else, something else, whatever, you don't have any more to give. And so I'm so pleased that you are doing this for yourself. If you are on my email list, you have already received the 6-page workbook. Hello, Donna. I heard you were going to be cooking. Hope you're making something good. So you should have received your 6-page workbook that goes with tonight. You don't have to do it with me. In fact, it's probably better if you kind of reflect on everything I say, read what's in the workbook, and then do it in a quiet space where you can really think. So, hello, Tony. Good evening. It's hard for me to say, not good morning. So, go to your email and make sure that you download the workbook so that you can follow along with what, maybe a replay, whatever. And if you're on a replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know that you've been here. If you are not on my email list, oh, good, Donna. If you are not on my email list and you want this workbook, just get in touch with me or put a comment in the notes, and I will make sure that you get it. Okay? So it's kind of a process, and it's something I wanted to share because I went to a class and I was asked to write a note to my future self, and I had no idea how to do it. And I managed to keep up with that thing for a whole year, and I read it on the day that I was supposed to read it. And honestly, it just kind of fell flat. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't really given any instruction on how to frame it so that it would be encouraging and compassionate and show gratitude for the hard work that I had done all year. So I just kind of, the exercise was lost on me, but I don't want it to be lost on you because it can be such a powerful thing. But it is a process. You do have to kind of get emotionally ready to write it. So I'm going to show you kind of the process that I go through. Sometimes it takes me most of December, maybe a little bit in January, to really get through all the things. You don't have to do all these things. You can just do one thing. You can decide not to do it. But these are the things that I have found that help me. And I've been doing it for, I think, 5 years now. So to get emotionally prepared, and I've got all these things over here. I think I'm going to move just a little so that I can show you. So the first thing I do is I go through my camera roll. You have to approach this with the right mindset. You are not going down memory lane. It's going to be extraordinarily hard not to do that because you live an incredible life and you have documented it, and you are going to get caught up in those things. And that's why I say give yourself a long lead time, because there's going to be days that when you go through this that you don't want to do this practice. You want to sit and look at your photos. And hello, Jamie. So get out your camera roll and start looking through the past year. Try not to get too hung up. That's my first word of advice. And that's the first practice I go through. Then I go through my planner, which is also my calendar. And if you can see, my planner is pretty in-depth. It's got a lot of notes, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things. And what happens in my planner as I go through it, as I get past that day, it sort of becomes a little snapshot diary. So I don't write down my inner thoughts. That goes in another journal, which is not necessarily part of this. But I do give a snapshot of maybe I went to the doctor that day, or maybe something happened that was noteworthy that I wanted to remember. So I kind of go through, and I kind of do that with my pictures too, like at the same time. And I think that keeps me on track so that I don't get so involved in looking at the photos. So that's the next thing that I do. Then I start going through, and I don't necessarily do this all at once, but I do kind of go through pictures and magazines or whatever. A lot of people have, give a vision board type workshop at this time of year. And if you land on one of those, take it. It's great. It's always good information. So, and these are kind of ideas that you have been pondering that are in your mind. Maybe you don't even know what it means, but it's something that's nagging at you for next year. Maybe something you want to accomplish. And so this is mine. All these things have different meanings to me. And I've been doing these for 5 years, and it was really amazing to me because I started off really crazy, lots and lots of ideas, lots and lots of words. Even my word of the year was a phrase. But I noticed that as I'm doing this each year, I'm like focusing in on things. The chaos is beginning to clear. The fog is beginning to clear. And so I noticed that I have a lot less photos and words on my vision board, but that makes me be able to concentrate, which happens to be my word of the year this year, a little bit closer to the things that I want to get accomplished. This is something that I taught a workshop on last year, and it was wildly successful. And if you guys are interested, any of these practices that I'm explaining right now, if you are unfamiliar with them, just let me know and I'll explain it. If you want to know more about it, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Laura McNeely 305. There's lots of information there. But if you make a note in the comments and enough people are interested, I can do another one, an updated version. But this is what was so interesting and people really loved. And I called it a challenge board. So what I did was I sectioned off my life into categories. And in the workshop that I did, I make some suggestions so that you can, figure out what really fits for you. And so there were things that I wanted to accomplish. And I wanted a central place to be able to track it. So for instance, this is classes that I completed. How many times did I create for myself? Not for a class or a lesson for you, but something for myself. Self-care items, things that, because, we always leave ourselves to last, right? And something as simple as taking a long bath, just soaking, that's self-care, and that's something that you need to do for yourself. I want you to know, I slept all night. I got up at 12 for a class. I went back to sleep and I got up to do this class for you. So I've not been feeling that well, so I need to drink water. in my New Year's glass. So this challenge board is really a fun thing to do. I put on here dates with my husband and my friends, books that I finished reading, new things that I tried that worked, just whatever. I mean, just all different kinds of categories that really seem to work, including, because I have a business online, including some of the numbers that I track, like followers or emails or things like that. So the next thing that I do, and these are all things that prepare my mind for this letter to make it just impactful, is 100 things. I have a notebook. Every year I get it back out and I write 100 things. It's really hard. It's a lot harder than you think to write down 100 things. And finally, what I was telling you about with the word of the year, I do a little visual thing. And see, this year is concentrate. And what I was talking about, I'm getting more and more focused, was the first year was trust the process. So that was a whole phrase. And then I had 2 words for this year. 1 word, two words for last year, and now I'm down to 1 word for this year. Those words kind of come to you through the process of the 100 things and just taking notice of things that people say to you and lessons you listen to and church services, and it will just come to you and you will be amazed. So in order to really kind of get emotionally prepared, those are some ideas, and the whole purpose is you want to reevaluate the past year, because if you don't bring it back into focus, then you don't really know what you've accomplished. Hey, Laurie. I managed to get up, Laurie, for this class. So so we're going to be, if you go to your email, if you're on my email list, go ahead and print off this workbook, and we're going to make an envelope and some stationery. And while we're decorating this, I'm going to tell you the steps of how to really give yourself a great letter to read at the end of next year that's going to ground you, settle you, encourage you. So I'm happy to hear from you too. All right. So I'm going to bring you down. See my new flower crown for New Year's. All right. So, and if you're not on my email list, by the way, and you want this workshop, workbook, then just give me a message down here. And Jamie did a recap last night. Wasn't it fun? I mean, it's really amazing when you start looking into your life and what you've gotten accomplished. It's a lot more than you think. You've done a lot more than you think. So, all right. So I'm going to turn you down to, I'm going to show you a technique that, I don't know, if you're in the Create-a-thon, you may have seen this idea, but we're going to do something called ink wash. And so in Christmas in July, I did a project that used this type of stuff. And I did these little sheep with a non-permanent pen. And then I used a paintbrush and just water, and I just painted with water to give it that little kind of fuzzy look. Shaded, fuzzy, very easy. A lot easier than it looks. It really kind of looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So what I did was, now you're going to find in your workbook an envelope. Let me get this for you. So this is the template for the envelope, and this is the template for the stationery. However, after I did this, I realized that if you just take a piece of copy paper and fold it in half, it's going to be the perfect size. So if you don't want to print that off, then that's fine. All right, so you're going to have this envelope, which I have already cut out for us so that we don't have to spend time doing that, because I know you have important things to do tonight. Maybe even getting ready for New Year's Eve tomorrow night. Is anybody going out tomorrow night? It's always my goal to stay home on New Year's. But all right, so I did not include a list of supplies, but I will show you. It's pretty simple. Obviously, scissors, a ruler. I did get out my little bone folder just because it's nice to have nice crisp lines. Some glue. If you want to get super fancy, you can have a corner rounder for your stationery. A paintbrush. I used a flat, and I think I'll probably use a little liner brush of sorts. You will need a pen that is not a permanent pen. And when I say this is going to sound very confusing, this one is a Sharpie S Gel. And I know we all think about Sharpies as being permanent, you know, fat black permanent pens. But this particular one, I even have a little tag on it so that I know that's the one. That's the type that I use for this ink wash design style. So you need a non-permanent pen. I do have some, I have my white Signo, Signo ball, Signo Uniball, and my gold. We may use that. So any kind of little embellishments you want to use, maybe even some glitter glue or stickers or washi tape, anything you really want to use. But this is the style that I'm going to show you tonight. And I saw this actually yesterday at the Dollar Tree. I didn't even know they sold them there. But these are washable, let me see if I can get it where you can read it, washable markers. And it's only $5. So, you know, at the Dollar Tree it was what, $1.25. And these are super fun for a lot of different techniques, some of which I'm going to be using this coming up year. I've already got a lot of things planned out for this year. So if you follow me, this is going to be a good investment for this year. Super Tips Washable Markers by Crayola. There's probably other types of markers. So I'm going to start with our stationery. And as we're doing this, I'm going to kind of go through and tell you exactly the types of things that you're going to be thinking about writing in your note to self, which you're going to read next year, December 30th, 2026. So I'm starting by just rounding out all these little corners. There we go. And I do have just a piece of extra paper because I put down a new plastic today because it's the new year and I wanted it to be fresh and new for the new year. So these markers are kind of chunky, you see? And so I'm going to put this ruler down, and because of that chunky tip, I'm going to lay it down flat and make a really, wide line here. And I'm just going to color it right off to the edge of the paper. What I had wanted to do is get it in one line. Hopefully I could do it next time. Okay, so we're just gonna do this all the way around. You can do this with any of these colors. This particular box has kind of basic colors: purple, yellow, green, blue, and pink, like a fuchsia. So after you've done all this recapping and reviewing of your life, and you're getting all warm and fuzzy because you have done so many things, loved on so many people, learned so many things, checked so many things off your bucket list that you're nice and warm and fuzzy, and you want to, the natural thing is to want to make next year better. I don't care who you are. That's just the way it is. Maybe it's our culture. Maybe it's the way, the advertising drags us. But now that you've got all those great things in your mind, you just have to start where you are. You have to give some context as to where you are, how you're feeling, what's been going on, so that the next year you goes, oh yeah, I remember, I was in a great place, or I was in a really gloomy place, or whatever. So you're going to write down the things that are happening around you. That could be, politically, spiritually, emotionally, just any way you feel. Maybe even creatively. I mean, we're creative people. And it's also kind of a nice thing to do, to write down what you're really grateful for right now, because that might change. It might surprise you. So those are the three little categories that you're going to kind of answer. And the way I wrote my letter was I answered all these questions, and then I went back to my pretty stationery and wrote like the short version so that it wasn't too time consuming. Okay, so now we've got this pretty little, these 2 lines, pretty colors. And now we're going to make them look kind of neon like this. Isn't that neat? All right, I'm going to show you how to do that. I have a kind of a wide brush. This one has the number on here, but it's so faint. Oh, it says 16. So I'm going to dip it in water, and you don't really want it soaking wet, but you do want it pretty wet. And we're just going to go down here, and we're going to start blending these so that they just wash. And then I'm going to take one line and go straight down there. Can you see that? It gives it, to me, it looks like a neon sign. I think it's really interesting looking. And you do have to work kind of quickly. Has anyone ever done this before? Is this an interesting technique to you? I thought it was super fun. There we go. All right. And we're going to let that dry. Okay. So the next thing that you're going to write, I'm going to move this because I don't really want blue on those little lamekins. I'm going to continue to tell you what to put in your letter while I work on the envelope. So the next thing that you're going to write is you're going to reflect on the wisdom that you have gained, through the year. And that could be happy, joyous things, or that could be maybe even sad things. Our family experienced a death this year. And so just because that happened and I'm not happy about it doesn't mean I didn't learn a heap from it. So those are the kinds of things you're going to write down. And this is my bone folder. I'm just going to see how it just pushes that straight down. And so you're going to write to yourself, what did this year teach you, not only teach you, but teach you about yourself? Because that's really what this is about. This is about who you're becoming. What strengths emerged, as your life maybe became difficult? What are you proud of? And this could be a really small thing. This is something that I kind of put in my goals for this year, is learn to celebrate more. I mean, celebrate all the little things, all the big things. Just celebrate, because you're alive and there's so many reasons to be grateful and joyous. Now, I cut that little thing off because, well, we're going to cut just a tiny bit off so that it will fold a little nicer. Now, if you decided you wanted to use just a plain envelope, you can. But I wrote on here 2025 Note to Self Workshop and Time Capsule of Wisdom and Hope, which you will be opening on December 30th, 2026. All right. I'm going to leave these little tabs folded down because they're going to be glued in anyway. All right. So then you're going to speak to yourself with kindness. I want you to offer some compassion and reassurance to your future self. You're not as wise now as you will be then, but you are still going to need some encouragement. So write down what you want for your future self. What do you want to remember when things get hard? This one's purple. I think I want to keep it the same as my other one. I'm going to use blue. What do you want to tell yourself when you're doubting the path that you're on? Maybe a truth that you never want her to forget. And you think of anything that you want to, remind yourself that you're strong. A way that you got through something, a coping mechanism that you figured out. I think I'm going to go here. And then you're going to sit back and dream a little bit. I'm going to put a line here and on the other side because that's going to be folded over. And I want it to show. So imagine your year ahead. Get dreamy and lofty. But I want you to do this gently and with no pressure. Okay? Don't make it like a to-do list. Don't make it so lofty. Now you should think lofty, but don't do it so that it's intimidating. Now I'm going to try to go around this and make it. It's all going to be blurry, so it's not really going to matter, but so I want you to dream and think how to get there. What would I do? Who would I be? How would I get there? And what do you think next December will look like? What will life look like in December? What personal and creative seeds would you like to plant and nurture throughout the next year to get there? What experiences do you hope to savor or explore? I can't go around these lines and talk at the same time. There we go. Ooh. And finally, you're going to close with gratitude and a blessing, because the way you treat yourself teaches other people how to treat you. Teaches other people what you're going to tolerate. So I want you to write down what kind of gratitude and blessings that you have for yourself. End it with some thanks and some love. You will notice on the last page of the workbook that there's some ending salutations, you know, and you can choose from those. Whatever seems to fit you. I see something. Do you see something that I missed on here? I have to look. I love those markers. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So if I fold this, it's not going to have any color on the bottom. I think I like color there, so I'm going to do that too. So one of the things that I read that I thought was really cool, I'll read it to you because it's so interesting. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, "The years teach much, which the days never know." Is that not so true? That is so true. So many things. This is going to look odd because I crossed over the pink. That's okay. It'll be fine. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, does it? There we go. Okay. So all these suggestions are really great ways to end up your letter to yourself. And you'll notice on that last section, that last page, it says, "One day you'll look back and realize that you were blooming all along." And that is so true. We are growing whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not. So we'll do our little thing. Now to me, I don't know that I could write everything on this one page. I would have to make more than one page, because you'll see the categories that I just told you all about, where to begin, what you've learned this year, speak to your future kind self, imagine your year, and close with gratitude, are all on these subject clouds, which is one of the reasons that I did it in this color. So I thought, well, that would help you keep it all like in focus for when you read your letter next time in a year from now. So I think that I'm going to make at least one page, maybe 2 or 3. And as I write my letter to myself, as I change categories, I'm just gonna glue that little cloud on there. These are so fun. This technique is so fun. I've done it for so many different things. And the different color combinations, you just can't hardly lose. And so what you kind of experienced tonight is it's just what I do. It's just, I love to pour myself into people. I love to help you see yourself in a better light and help you grow in a mindset type of manner. And I have a membership that we do all these things. In fact, some of the people listening today are in that membership, and we have so much fun. We do a project like this, and we talk about how our mindset and how we can grow as a person, and that's called Art and Answers. And if you're, I would love to chat with you about that sometime. we have so many different things that we've done. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we've done in there. I'm going to move this. So we started, we were going to bind our book. I haven't gotten my pages in my book yet, but I do have my cover done. And these were some of the designs that we did. We talked about community and Friendsgiving, and this was the beginning of the year where we were dreaming and trying to put some of these ideas in place. We don't have to go through them all. We learned about collage and how to put that together by creating and being very explorative about the way we do our art. There's lots of things about, this one was about being truly me, what's being true to yourself. And I won't go through all of them, but we had super fun doing all those things. Then I also included for you these extra embellishments, which I thought would be really cute to add into these different elements of stars and maybe a snowflake or whatever. But what I thought I would do with you is this cute little angel. Excuse me. So I'm going to use this wash pen that I showed you, the Sharpie gel. And I'm just going to kind of go, I just trace this out really easy. There we go. And trace it off of that page onto another page. This is just regular copy paper. And this means that anyone could do it. This simple, you could do this with your kids even. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because of the style, and it gets all that kind of fuzzy, right? You get perfect natural shadows. I'm gonna put her little face in. Oh, she's so cute. And I thought maybe we could use that as a stamp, like on the back to hold the envelope closed. Okay. So lastly, I'm going to put my paintbrush. Can you see? Oh, I'm way off track here, aren't we? So I'm just going to kind of dampen that ink a little bit, and it's going to start to bleed. Just kind of make it make some sense where you're putting it. See, like I did, put a little bit of the water in the folds of her dress on the little stars that she's dropping in there. Awesome, right? And I'm going to let this go ahead and dry. Excuse me. And I'll probably go put it with the washable markers. Gosh, you guys. And that way I can go ahead and put a little color in there, but I'm going to leave that dry, I think. And so when all this gets dry and I write my letter, I will post. I'm going to bring you back up here. Hey. Oh, Donna likes the Art and Answers membership. We have a lot of fun, don't we? So, and one of the things that I noticed when I was going through my year-end, sum up, I guess, is all the things I've learned from creating those lessons. It was wonderful. So The wash technique is a lot of fun too. So if you find value in this, let me know in the comments. If you're on my email list, you have this workshop in your email box already. Thank you, Tony. And if you are not on my email list and you want this workshop, then by all means, let me know and I'll get it straight to you. This video will be available for 30 days right here on this page. But if you come back for a replay, give me a hashtag replay, and by all means, send me photos of yourself and your letter. You don't have to show us what you write, but show us how you decorated your envelope. You know, turned out really cool. And let me hear from you. So if you're going out tomorrow night, please be safe. Please be careful. Think about taking care of yourself and others around you. And I hope that next year is the best year yet. Thanks for coming. Bye.